NDTV reached out to experts, and for the moment what is being made to understand is that of course RBI reaching out and offering the special liquidity facility is in a bid to assure investors that the mutual fund segment as a whole should not be a reason for concern at the moment. So clearly, remember, last week all investors were concerned throughout the weekend as well after the debt fund crisis and the closure of 6 debt schemes in Franklin Templeton. So clearly, with everyone being concerned as to what is happening and redemption pressure is mounting, this reason, and the reason they are citing is that at the moment the experts believe this is to ease and calm investor nerves.
Right, Sakshi, this is something we looked at quite closely yesterday, and there is obviously this feeling that what has happened with Franklin Templeton is not an isolated event. Franklin Templeton has talked about the liquidity crunch. It has said that it was doing what it thought was the best possible for investors, but there's a worry that this could be soon a system-wide contagion unless regulators act and act now. Are we seeing this then as a first step from the RBI, and could we see more such moves going ahead? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Experts do believe this could be seen as a first step of at least acknowledging the fact that yes, investors were extremely concerned. This could of course spiral into a contagion impact, and so therefore just to avoid that, at the moment this announcement does come across as a first step. However, remember, the Securities Exchange Board of India also needs to step in, and of course further measures from the RBI remain to be sought.
And this is of course something we've been seeing investors also urge regulators to step in at this point to protect their investments. There's a great deal of anxiety at this point about what to do with mutual funds. So this is going to come as at least some measure of relief for investors as well.
Yes, in the near term, of course, it could come as some measure of relief. However, remember, concerns remain because we are battling a pandemic, and of course, investors are worried about their money being locked in. Remember, that's what investors were calling in when last week we had the Franklin Templeton debt fund crisis to deal with. We have Mr. Dharendra Kumar, an expert, joining us to decode RBI's move. So, sir, what do you make of this?
Oh, it's a very meaningful move. You know, this much of enablement, 50,000. And clearly earmarked with all the kind of, and the issue was not absence of liquidity. It was the absence of any risk appetite. And Reserve Bank enabling this credit being exclusively made available to mutual fund at a defined cost for 90 days through a repo action. Enablement through a repo will provide a great comfort. Because right now it was not actually the, credit issues might arise if the lockdown extends. But right now what we were witnessing, it was a, like any run on the financial market, this is a crisis of belief. And RBI is stepping in and providing a clean safety net, I would not say safety net, but a backup liquidity will provide and soothe the nerves. All redemptions requests will be honored, and that itself will be very confidence inspiring.
Dharendra Kumar, for all our viewers who perhaps don't understand the technicalities of this, do explain what is this special liquidity facility that we're talking about, and what is it that the RBI is hoping to do? Is this a loan against eligible securities that can be given to financial institutions? Now, does this happen only in an emergency situation? Just give us a sense of what this means.
Yeah, I'll just explain, how common investors will actually, how to make sense of it. We invest money in mutual funds. Mutual fund invest in bonds. And when investors come back to get their, whenever investors come back to redeem their investments, fund companies sell some bonds to actually redeem that. That market has disappeared. There is absolutely no appetite in the market to buy those bonds. RBI has agreed. By repo, I mean, RBI will be buying those bonds if fund companies turn up to the tune of 50,000 crores. So the market which had disappeared has been enabled. Now there is a ready buyer in by way of RBI for those bonds, which will facilitate and honor redemption. It was very important because, most companies invest in these mutual funds, fixed income funds, and if, mostly people park their surplus cash, and it is used for paying salaries, paying expenses. So locking of these investments in these funds in this manner would have, completely curtailed the ability of companies to access their own money at the most opportune time. At the most inopportune time, it was not available to them. So this freezes that. I don't know what happens to Franklin Templeton funds where a large part, 25,000 crore worth of investment is stuck. But by and large, the general run on other fixed income funds will be curtailed.